Hello, good evening Tribuners. Welcome back with me Mutiara in Indonesian News of Tribun Lampung. We will present you an updating and interesting information from every place in Indonesia. And here the complete news. The first news is the flood disaster in Mulyadadi Village occurred when residents were praying Tarawih. Residents of Mulyadadi Village, Majenang District on Wednesday, April 22, 2022 at around 7 o'clock p.m. were surprised by the arrival of overflowing floods from the Cijalu River. The flood occurred when residents were performing the Tarawih prayer at the Baitul Solihin Mosque Mulyadadi Village. One of the affected residents, Lasmina, according to her narrative, there were no signs before the flood hit the area. Lasmina said that when the flood came, she then rushed home, but when she got home, she was trapped in water with a height of about 1 meter in her house. Almost all property belonging to residents cannot be saved, such as clothes, electronics, and other furniture. Even some livestock belonging to the resident were also swept away by the flood. In addition to knocking down settlements, flooding also occurred on the Mulyadadi Village highway with water levels ranging from 20 to 40 centimeters or an adult's knee. According to information, the new flood receded around 11 o'clock p.m. or 4 hours after the flood occurred. In the morning, residents cleaned their houses from the rays of the flood, such as silk that had entered the house. They also removed items that were submerged in the flood from inside the house. It is known that the overflow of the Cijalu River into residential areas was caused by heavy rains that flushed the Majenang area from afternoon to evening. As a result, 4 houses suffered severe damage and 2 of them collapsed, namely the house belonging to Sugito and Rahman. Now, the residents affected by the flooding in Mulyadadi Village are mostly evacuating to their family homes because their houses cannot be occupied and need renovation. The next news is Republic of Indonesia Warship Diponegoro Openship to students in Bitung City. The Warship of the Republic of Indonesia Diponegoro, with hull number 365, is a sophisticated warship owned by the State of Indonesia. The ship, which is currently commanded by Marine Lieutenant Colonel Adam Cahya, is one of the elements involved in carrying out border security operation. Fleet Command Marine Combat Group 2 carry out security operation in the border areas of Indonesia, Malaysia, and Indonesia, the Philippines. Meanwhile, the warship of the Republic Indonesia Diponegoro conducted an open ship with students in Bitung City. The open ship was carried out by the warship of the Republic Indonesia Diponegoro 365 while docking at the pier of the patrol ship unit at the main base of the Indonesian National Army, 80 Manado, on Friday, April 22, 2022. According to the commander of the Marine Combat Group of the Fleet Command, the First Admiral of the Indonesian Navy, Denny Prasetyo, as the tactical executing commander in border security operation on board the warship of the Republic Indonesia Diponegoro 365. In addition to carrying out border security operation around the Sulawesi Sea, the Republic of Indonesia Warship Diponegoro 365 also provides opportunities for students, especially those in Bitung City, to take a close look at one of the warship equipped with high technology belonging to Indonesian National Armed Force when docked at the dock. This is to provide motivation and foster a maritime spirit and interest in students. The next news is Sultan Hasanuddin International Airport atmosphere ahead of Eid Al-Fitr. 9 days before Eid Al-Fitr, Sultan Hasanuddin International Airport was observed to be empty on Friday, April 22, 2022. Based on the direct observation of the East Tribune, very few passengers passing by at the departure gate. The check-in area looks equally deserted. There are only a few officers who check passenger travel documents who remain on standby. Several prospective passengers met at the check-in area admitted that they prefer to go home early to avoid plane ticket prices that are getting more expensive as it approaches. One of the passengers, Mimas Apriliadini, said that he deliberately went home early because every day the ticket prices for going home are getting more expensive. Moreover, he said he had to go 3 people with other relatives. He admitted that the price of the ticket he bought a few days ago had increased. In just a few hours, he said, the ticket price on the flight ticket purchase application went up from the start he checked the price of the first ticket. Regarding government regulation that require antigens and PCR for those who have just carried out vaccine 1 and 2, Dimas admitted that it did not burden him. It is natural for the government to do this. Meanwhile, Angkasa Pura One stakeholder relation manager Iwan Risdianto admitted, if you look at the current condition of the airport, you can see an increase in the number of passengers. It is estimated that they are prospective passengers who choose to go home earlier than the joint leave schedule that has been stated by the government. The next news is the discovery of a number-selling item in several supermarkets that have expired. The Department of Industry, Trade Cooperative and Small and Medium Enterprises in North Kalimantan cooperated with the Tarakan Food and Drug Supervisory Agency to check the expiration date of goods sold by a number of supermarkets in Nunukan on Thursday, April 21, 2022. This morning until this afternoon, a number of supermarkets in Nunukan were checked for merchandise by the Tarakan Food and Drug Supervisory Agency. Then accompanied by the Industry and Trade Cooperatives and Small and Medium Enterprises Office of North Kalimantan and the district government by involving the North Kalimantan and Regency Civil Service Police Unit and the Nunukan Health Service. Head of Industry and Trade Service for Cooperative and Small and Medium Enterprises in North Kalimantan, Hasriani. He said that monitoring activities were routinely carried out ahead of Eid Al-Fitr. In addition, the Department of Industry and Trade, Cooperative and Small and Medium Enterprises in North Kalimantan are worried about selling it parcel at low prices containing expired goods. Of the 3 shops inspected, said Hasriani, 2 of them arranged a load of expired products on their store shelves. There are even products whose packaging is damaged. He worries consumers if they are not careful in buying products when shopping at supermarkets. He admitted that expired goods had been directly destroyed by business actors in the presence of officers. The next news is the Banten Hague Prosecutor's Office names first suspect in the alleged corruption case of tax funds. The Banten Hague Prosecutor Office has just named first suspect related to the alleged corruption case on Friday, April 22, 2022. The 4 suspects are suspected of having committed tax evasion in the one-step, one-roof administration system Kelapa II, Tangerang City. According to TribunBanten.com's monitoring at around 39 minutes past 6 p.m., 4 suspects wearing red prison clothes came out of the Banten Prosecutor's Office. The 4 suspects were taken by security officer into the detention car. The head of the Banten Hague Prosecutor's Office, Leonard Ebenezer Simanjuntak, said that his party had named 4 suspects based on sufficient evidence from the examination of witnesses and the evidence that had been collected. Leonard said that The first suspect was suspected of being involved in a case of alleged tax embezzlement, which led to a criminal act of corruption which was in Samsat Kelapa II. The first suspect include two as civil servants, one as honorary and one as a private party. He conveyed that on this very day, before naming the first suspect, the investigative team moved quickly to secure the evidence by conducting searches into places. The investigative team has managed to collect several documents related to the case, consisting of a bundle of screenshots, one plastic and 29 million rupiah in cash. The next news is an operation volunteers struggle to clean Jakarta International Stadium. What's the point of the grandeur of the arena when it's not clean? That's what the volunteers who are willing to take the time to clean up the spectator streets at the Jakarta International Stadium. Volunteers for the end operation walked down the stairs carrying a banner bearing positive messages addressed to every spectator at the Jakarta International Stadium during the IYC 2021 match. 25 volunteers were recorded who were willing to give their time to pick the audience trees and campaigns messages as bring a tumbler. Also in the volunteer group was a father named Wawan along with his 10-year-old son named Rehan. As a volunteer, Wawan said that the audience was often asked to pick up trees even if he was criticized. However, he didn't mind it. When asked about his son joining as a volunteer, Wawan explained that this was an initiative of his own son without coercion. According to him, his son had his own reason for wanting to volunteer. Besides wanting to see a clean new stadium, his son also dreams of becoming a footballer. The last news is Ketupat operation ahead of Eid Al-Fitr. The North Sulawesi Regional Police, together with the Indonesian National Army and related agencies, have begun to prepare for the security of Eid Al-Fitr 2022. There are still about 10 more days for Muslims to celebrate the victory on Eid Al-Fitr. This morning, on Friday, April 22, 2022, the Regional Police of North Sulawesi held a ceremony for the title of the 2022 Ketupat Samrat troops. This is a form of synergy between the Indonesian National Police and the relevant agency to ensure that the community is safe and healthy during the celebration of Eid Al-Fitr 2022. This Ketupat operation was carried out simultaneously throughout Indonesia for 12 days, starting from the 28th of April to 9th of May in a year 2022. Well, I think that's all the news for today with me, Mutiara. Thank you for watching.